think Randy's frozen now.
He is, but he looks like that all the time. It's hard to tell. He's always.
Hell, I feel like that.
That's
just that picture.
He's a ventriloquist.
Oh, hey guys, welcome to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Who's got their hand up my tuchus?
Y'all are volunteering to figure out which little league team y'all can go coach next.
Nah,
oh man,
don't even joke about that.
Luke, don't get me started.
Well, you're coaching again, aren't you? I'm not coaching this time. I just got to go to all of them. I mean, and they're just all the time, everywhere, every time.
Here's Cecilia this morning. We've got flag football pictures at 8:40. She plays 2 games after that, and then she's got 2 soccer games this afternoon. She's got 4 games today.
Why don't we just eat up the whole Saturday?
That's the look I want to give, Brett. That one.
What I like about these things is most of the time they tend to wait for the TV schedule to come out, and then they try to find, okay, what's the most inconvenient time we can make it for all these families. And then on Sunday they just say, well, we know NFL games on the front end get pretty good right around 1:20, so we'll kick off about 1:25. That way you can miss the beginning and the end.
Just a big old barrel of screw up. So. All right, we got about 1 minute, I think. Let's see.
So, did you see the video on Opelika last night? I was telling you, Brett.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The catch. Yeah.
A good catch or a?
Well, okay, so touchdown. Dothan's really good this year.
Yeah.
So they had a region game, and I think Dothan was going in to score to go up maybe 8 or 9 points. I think they were up 14-13.
Yep.
Opelika stopped them. Maybe a 4th and goal from the 1 or the 2. Got the ball back, and then hit a 95-yard touchdown pass over the top.
Yep.
To score, and so won 21-14.
Yeah, wow. on
Brett, you're like it may just be you. Luke's not buffering, but I got you buffering constantly. Well, I know it's not your connection, but for some reason it's buffering on you.
I
don't have it.
You don't have it? Okay. All right, I think we're getting ready. $30 seconds, guys. We'll be ready to go. All right, actually 10. That's the quickest 30 seconds ever. All right, welcome everybody to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We're glad that you've joined us. Finally get to be back on the air live for a change. I'm not in the Atlanta airport for the first time in God knows when at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to fly to parts unknown. I feel like I needed to go ahead and buy a piece of property in Texas. There's plenty to buy out there for sure. But I felt like as much as I've been out there the last month, I need to buy some property out there. But glad to be with everybody this morning. Obviously, high school football last night. We're going to dive into that. And until Randy and Luke have to go be part of the Little League Nation here at some point in time later on this morning, we'll dive into some college football. But good to see both of you this morning.
Glad to be here, Luke. Brett, glad to see Luke. I saw you all night last night, Brett, so I'm going to speak to Luke first. And a good football game last night, though, and I think there were a lot of great games around the state. Luke, I'm sure you were checking out some scores in your area. I guess one of the biggest ones that I don't think it caught us off guard, but maybe the difference in score caught us off guard, and that's that Hewitt and Thompson game. Hewitt gets to the number 1 spot. It doesn't look like they'll hold on to it for long, losing to Thompson last night, 34-12.
Yeah, I watched a little bit on NFHS. I was watching BRHS, and then they sort of took the lead, by a big margin. And I thought, well, let me tune into this Thompson game because it may be getting good. And they were, luckily for me, they were time-wise, they were off by a good bit. Like y'all were well into the third quarter when their second half just started. And so Hewitt gets the ball. I think they got it first in the second half, and they just methodically march it down the field, had some nice runs, some nice passes, first downs on penalties, and they get down to about the 2. They have first and goal, trailing, I want to say it was 13-10. And, yeah, it was 13-10. They were trailing 13-10. They had it third and goal at the 2 now, and they throw a pick six, 98 yards. And after that, it was over. I mean, you could just – legitimately feel it coming from the computer screen that that sort of ruined everything for Hewitt. And I mean, because now they're down 2 scores, and you just worked your tail off to get where you were. And after all that, you give up 7 points to other teams. So that sort of threw a monkey wrench in that game for Hewitt. And I hate it for him because, look, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I was sort of pulling for Hewitt just because they have not experienced any of the euphoria that Thompson has. I mean, they hadn't certainly been to that mountaintop, but there's a reason that Thompson is where they are, and Hewitt is where they are. I mean, these teams, there is something to be said for, we hear it all the time, and we do it with college football teams. Well, if this hadn't happened and that hadn't happened and this hadn't happened, well, but there's a reason that the ifs always end up on the side of teams like Thompson, because they prepare more, they know what to do, they got the learning curve, and it's not just happenstance. That's what they do to win. Good teams find a way to win, and Thompson just found a way.
Yeah, it's.
I agree, and you give your take on it, Brett.
No, okay. No, I think we may be a little delayed in some stuff here, so we apologize if we kind of step over each other. No, I just was going to say that, I think, Hewitt finally gets in position to take the number 1 spot in 7A, and they get the immediate test from Thompson that they can't pass. It's kind of like going back and taking the ACT over and over, thinking you're going to get a better score, and you never do. And, and again, it's not a shot on them. I think Luke described it pretty well. It just was, a situation where, even though you look at Clay, it tells a lot about Clay Chaltville's program is what it does, because Clay Chaltville won big again last night over Mountain Brook. They destroyed Mountain Brook. It wasn't even close. I think it was 49-0 or something like that. We'll get to the scores here in just a minute, but tells you right there, you always talk about the discrepancy between classifications, Randy. So, Clay Chaltville really kind of stepping up, maybe showing that they could be the best in 7A outside of maybe Phoenix City. But going back to Hewitt Trussville, don't know that they'll ever get over the hump. I mean, they had a great opportunity last night to warrant them being awarded the number 1 spot in the 7A class, and they couldn't get it done. And I think the game was at home too, right?
Yeah, is it Mountain Brook? I almost went to it.
Trussville, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're in Trussville. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Mountain Brook. But yeah, the Mountain Brook was there, and it was in Trussville too. You're absolutely right. And that whole play just sucked the air out of the whole stadium. It was wild to see. I mean, they showed immediately the Hewitt sidelines, and you could see everybody almost turn their head like they didn't want to watch him cross the goal line. And to add insult to injury, when the Thompson guy beat the quarterback, I think he's the one that he beat, like on Hewitt's 10-yard line, just like beat him. And so he's running for 90 yards free, and another Thompson player catches up to him, and they high five at the 5-yard line while he's got the ball in the other hand. I mean, it was like like some kind of play from the 70s. That's what you would have seen from the 70s in the NFL or something. Yeah. It was like, it was sad because it would be nice. I mean, they've got this whole Husky fast theme, and it's true. I mean, they play fast. They're a good team, but then there's Thompson. I mean, it's like Central Phoenix City is a really good team, and then there's IMG,
Right. Randy, I think sometimes you look at the logo on the side of the helmet, and you heard what the coach for Chaltville said, to me when I went up and talked to him. He said, yeah, we respect Thompson, but he said that logo doesn't mean anything to us. He said, we want people to fear our logo, and we're going to approach. And that you could just feel the the whole vibe at Clay Chalville's like, ain't nobody better than us. I mean, I know Thompson's had all this success, but we don't care. And I think on the flip side of that, it's more the other way for Hewitt-Trussville. They go out there on the field and thinking it's going to be their year, and they look over and see that logo and still feel like they are kind of second fiddle. I hate to be that way, but it's just the truth.
Well, it's like Luke said, there's a reason that you have separated yourself from the rest of the region for far too long. And, it was Hoover that way when we first started with AHSA. I remember like it was yesterday having a talk with Coach Sav about, Coach, I'm sure that you like that Hoover's playing as well as they are and ruling the state and probably bringing everybody else up to their level of play. And But I brought up, I said, but I bet you would like to see a few other teams come out of the North so it brings a little parity to the state. And he said, no, honestly, he said, Hoover's the best thing that's happened to high school football in this state because everybody's got to get better. And if they don't, they're just going to win a championship every year. And it's made all of us get better. And now, look, we're a decade removed from Hoover on in the state of Alabama. Thompson, Phoenix City have really been the two teams that have been there more than some others, but parity's a little better than it was, maybe 20 years ago, Brett. And there's a good reason for that. And I think namely is how good Hoover did get during that 15-year stretch that everybody knew that they had to up their game, and they did.
Yeah, raising the bar. I mean, they did that. And, again, it made everybody better. It forced – I was there when we had that conversation with Coach Sav, and it kind of took me back a little bit. I thought his answer would have been different, but it really worked out the way he said it should work out. Everybody either step up or they'll just keep winning. And so when Mark Freeman got to Thompson, he changed their culture. He said, look, why do we have to be the bottom dweller of this region every year? And we don't have to be. And so, not saying I don't know the coach at Hewitt-Trussville. I don't know, much about their program internally, but at some point in time, you gotta flip that switch and go, hey, we're not going to play second fiddle to anybody. Why can't we? We've had all these players. We got the resources. We got things to get up here. And obviously we're good enough to be warranted being voted the number one team in the state. We got to get over the hump at some point in time. So just thought that was very interesting. Some other scores out there before in the next segment, we'll dive into our football game that we covered last night, Benjamin Russell and Helena, as Benjamin Russell continues to get better every week and, making that push toward the playoffs as we come down the stretch with only 3 games left in the season, which is crazy. But any other scores that stand out to you guys real quick before, and we're going to go through the scores and all classifications. Anything that stands out to y'all?
I didn't say anything crazy. Otherwise, I'll take that back. St. Michael's and Jackson. I thought Jackson may win that game, but St. Michael's is good. They threw it all over the yard, and I think what that game tells me is it's usually about quarterbacks because the best player on the field was Xavier Crowell. He had like 22 carries for 300 and something yards, and I mean they just couldn't stop him. But the other team had Gunnar Rivers, and when your quarterback is really, really good like that. And he apparently outperformed Landon Jackson, or not Landon Duckworth. Yeah. So I think that the importance of a good quarterback can't be overstated.
The only other game I saw last night was just discrepancy in score was the Phoenix City and Auburn game.
Yep.
Phoenix City winning that game 36-0. The separation of those two programs is a little shocking. But I think Phoenix City is that good this year. I haven't seen them have a close game outside of that IMG loss in the state of Alabama. We'll see how they match up with the northern half of the state, but I think they're going to rule on the southern half and easily get into the finals, barring some catastrophe happening late.
So it'd be Central Phoenix City and Thompson. Is that what it would be in the finals?
Yeah, that would be the final again.
That'd be a good one. I mean,
like it is every year.
Yeah, I mean that's All right,
glad
these two teams finally get to meet.
They just go, wait, we'll just meet in December. It's all right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the break here for TV. Again, appreciate everybody joining us. A lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. What about Reeltown losing?
What was that score? I haven't seen all the scores.
20-19.
Who'd they lose to?
Lynette.
Does Lynette have dudes this year?
I guess so. They're undefeated.
Oh, they are, go.
Yep.
Try another spot here.
Let me go over to the neighbor's yard and see what they got.
Pretty much.
Oh, you had a drink waiting on you when you got there.
Now I lost Brett.
That's the life of the rich and famous right there. Jeeves, just meet me in that corner over there.
Let's hang out over here by this pine tree.
So what are you going to do today, Brett?
I've got a wedding to go to.
Oh, God. Who was that?
Who did that?
Who was that?
You'll finally get a day off. So anyway,
I believe that's what I'd have to say. I've been traveling. I'm going to stay at the house. I'm going to sit here. If I throw rice at you, it's going to be the whole bag and it's going to be frozen because you made me come out here.
Yeah, Derek, Lynette has 2 total losses, Bullitt County and Handley, but 5 programs and lost by combined 4 points. So undefeated in the region, maybe is what I should have said. But yeah, Lynette, 20-19 over Reeltown. That one shocked me last night when I saw that. Yeah, it was a good day for Baby J, Michael. Just a great, great night for him. And, man, we'll talk about that here in just a second. We come back. Got it done defensively. This team finds ways to get it done in all phases, and that's when you know you got a good football team. And you got all the weapons you got on offense, and when it clicks, man, it's just.
I wonder what the perception of BRHS would be if they hadn't lost that close one to Opelika.
Probably.
They'd be up there. They'd be 1 or 2, wouldn't they?
I don't know that it'd be different.
No, the problem with 6A is you've got Clay Chalk, Parker, and Saraland.
And most of them ahead of you. They've been 6 for 2 weeks now. They moved up to 6 last week, and they had no room to move up this week. Everybody in front of Parker lost, but they lost to Carroll.
Lost to Jets.
So they dropped down to 5. They dropped down to 5. I'm not sure they'd lose to the Jets. They're terrible.
I'm with you on that. I should have picked another pro team. I would. Go ahead.
No, 30 seconds. It's all right.
Brett, you lead us in, okay?
I will.
Getting cold out here. Everybody's asleep, though. I can't do anything. Keep sending me back further. I'm going to end up at Randy's house next time. And just that love seat.
Keep sliding down 280.
Brett, our daughters were playing at the same complex last weekend, and I didn't even get to see Luke because I was coaching another game here in Auburn.
I saw Ginger. Did she tell you?
Yeah, she told me.
All right, here we go. Family hour's over. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, brought to you by the National Little League Foundation here on Saturday Sports Countdown. I've already been through my era. What did y'all do? I've like my
got divorced and had another kid. That's what I did. I don't know about
that. What are y'all thinking?
Well, I do feel like I turn on every field light between Lee County to Tallapoosa County. But we love it. It'll be over. I do ask my wife about every other week, what in the world are we going to do with our time once these kids are done with ball? We'll find stuff, but it won't be chasing a ballpark.
That's the only thing that worries you. You get them out of the house, and then you look around and go, we better go adopt one so we can do this again.
Yeah, you don't see that happening very much. All right, let's get to some scores, but let's go back and talk about Benjamin Russell first. We'll maybe use a segment or two here to talk about that game last night. Benjamin Russell improving to 6-1 on the season, 4-0 in the region. They knock off Helena 28-10. Wildcats get up to a 14-0 lead, it felt more like 28-0 because really only one drive of note came from Helena, and it was later in the game. And they made an adjustment, thought they did a really good job on a particular series where they were able to, find something that they could exploit. But outside of that, really didn't do much offensively at all. Now, credit them. Thought they played pretty good defense themselves. We had a drive in the first half of 77 yards, and the other touchdown came on a 65-yard pick six for Baby J, and he'd also add another one in the second half to solidify and cement the win for Benjamin Russell. But, Helena's always been a team, Randy, in this region that is well coached and usually has really good athletes, and they're great along the lines of scrimmage. So it's going to be a battle. They're not going to give you anything. You got to earn it. So I thought this was a good test for the Wildcats. They had to go out and win this football game. It was not going to be a situation where Helena, even though they're having a down year, is going to roll over and give you anything. Wildcats had to earn everything they got.
Well, it's become a good series. It's a good matchup and a good barometer on where you are with your program that particular year. We've played 8 times now. We've won 4. They've won 4. And some games have gotten away from them and vice versa. Some have gotten away from us.
Right.
So I like that region matchup. And, it's 2 really good programs that have definite cultures that you deal with. So I'll start with what Helena's is. That's the line of scrimmage. If you're unwilling to play a physical brand of football against Helena, they'll expose you. And we are, though, this year. I'll start there. I think we're exceptionally well coached on both sides of the ball. I'll start on the defensive side. I've been doing ball games with you for 21 years. There's one simple thing for me that determines whether you're going to get beat badly or you're going to stay in football games defensively. And that is, are you physical enough to set the edge against the running game? Do you have defensive ends? Do you have outside backers that will take on blocks, not catch them, and make all the plays turn back inside? Because in high school football, if you can't do that one single thing well, you're going to get beat up, and you're going to get beat up badly. And so I'll start there. One of our players of the game last night was Christian Smith, defensive end. He's not one of our bigger defensive players, but plays the game the right way, plays it exceptionally hard, and he's really physical. He's probably 205 pounds. So he's giving up 50 or 60 pounds per man that's blocking him, but he never catches a block, and he sets the edge. So I thought he played one of his best games last night, and you've already talked about one of our other players of the game that was Lejavius Baby J Calhoun, had 2 pick sixes last night, also played well on the perimeter. And we've talked about him, Brett, and then we'll bring Luke in. We've talked about what a great athlete he is. For a team full of Division I type athletes, he's the fastest of the bunch. He's the 100-meter guy that in the 9th grade, I think, finished 3rd in state in Class 6A. So he can really go out and run a time and looks the part. So I'm proud for him. I think the more that we play this year, the more heads he'll be able to turn. And that's a great thing for that young man because I think he's got the talent to play at a big school in the college game.
Well, I did get to see just a little bit of y'all's game. Like I said, it seemed like it was well in hand. 14-0 at the half told me Helena's probably not going to be able to get back in this one. But they did make it 14-7 to their credit. But a couple of things I saw a nice play by Cedarian Morgan on a little drag route when it was maybe 3rd and long, or it was right after a penalty. And he just barrels over people. If he's not running by you, he's running through you. And then I've moved to the other game just for a second and came back, and I heard Brett going on and on about some catch that he made that was maybe out of bounds. What happened there?
Yeah.
A lot worse than that, Luke.
Okay.
Way worse than that. We had a conversion play that we hit a beautiful pass down the sideline by Kingston. Cedarian drags his foot on the inbounds and gets into the end zone, and we've got a flag thrown way behind the play. This is a 1 or 2 step drop, and we have a late holding penalty called somewhere around the line of scrimmage. The flag didn't pop out until the ball was already out of his hands. Did I explain that one correctly, Brett?
That's what the play was. I couldn't remember exactly what, because I I was like, well, it's not going. They're not going to show the replay, so I don't need to. I mean that because your NFHS doesn't show replays, right? I hadn't seen one.
No, it does not. No. Mm-mm.
Can you? How do they do that? Because on the Hewitt Thompson one, they showed replays like from different angles. I mean, I was like, man, they must have a whole camera crew.
Yeah, it's probably the crew and how that's set up. But first of all, let's just say that we're glad NFHS actually worked for a change. Now, again, sometimes it depends on where your service is, but that platform's got a lot to be desired. I mean, they still got some work to do on that platform. I mean, I appreciate the platform, but if it doesn't work half the time, it ain't good. So, you get a lot of complaints from all over the state about the unreliability, I guess, of that platform. And it's not the service for the schools a lot of times. It's their platform. But anyway, to go back, some plays that there was another play called back, I think, in that game that we had. But for the most part, points were few and far between. We're able to go out and do the things you needed to do to get a win in that game. And I thought, some nights it's going to be somebody else that has to step up. And, when Coach Johnson talked to Faith after the game, he pretty much said, I thought that was a great interview. And Randy echoed exactly what I said in the pregame and what he talked to me in the pregame about. He said, I'm going to be honest. He said, when I got here and, evaluated, I didn't think he was going to make it. And he said, because of the way I coach and the way, maybe his attitude was. And he said, now he's probably my favorite player to coach. He said he's really done the things that I've asked him to do, and he's really made a change internally to be one of the best players we have on this team. And that's a great story. That's a story that needs to be told completely over and over and over because I witnessed that. I mean, he was, a kid that maybe wasn't buying in completely at the beginning, and now he's 110%, and he's one of the best weapons on a team, like you said, loaded with Division I players. He's one of the best weapons we have on this football team. He makes plays in special teams. He makes plays on defense. So it's really, really good to see a kid make that transformation and find his way, on a particular team. Let's go ahead and go to a commercial break for TV because we got to go here. And then we come back, we'll continue this discussion and go through some more scores. We'll continue to talk through the break as well. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
I think this is BRHS's best chance to win a state championship.
I mean, they got a legit chance. Yeah, they got a legit chance. I mean, obviously there's 4 or 5 teams that, are right there too, and maybe a little bit better in some areas. But, a lot of them are on the northern side. And so the only way you would get to either Parker or Clay Chalkville is in the championship game. So on the south side,
I think the best 2 outside of us on the southern side of the brackets, Saraland and Pike Road. I think Pike Road's kind of our equal. I think we're a little better maybe on both sides of the ball, but Pike Road is really good on the defensive side of the ball.
Pike Road has the guy committed to Tennessee.
Yep.
Yes, they've got 3 big D1, 3 or 4 big D1 commitments that play on the defensive side, don't they, Brett?
They do.
Yeah, and they got probably the best middle linebacker in Class 4A last year, or was it? I guess it was Class 5A because yes, Catholic won 5A. That was one of Kirk's kids at Catholic, and Miles Catchery. He transferred over to Pike Road. Man, he's 14 tackles a game.
Wow.
So
why did he come here?
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing staying over in the Montgomery area, and decided to stay there. And it's not like he didn't get on a talented team there too. They are Outlaws, the one you're talking about, Luke.
Yeah. Braylon, isn't it Braylon Outlaw?
That's right. Yeah. And they're well coached. Brett thinks a lot of that program. They do it right. So that would be probably a great quarterfinal game, Brett.
That'd be a quarter. Yep, that'd be a third round game.
That would be a super game.
Going to be probably Saraland in the 4th round.
For either of our programs.
Yep. They're live.
Is he asking if we are alive or if we're just live?
I don't know. Are we alive? I question that too. So
I died.
We're
years ago.
We're at break of a TV broadcast. Maybe that's worthy of saying. Not necessarily just the podcast that we have here. We're putting a television product. Okay.
30 seconds.
You may need to tell people that a little bit more, Brett, because we're just kind of rambling out here.
I didn't see a comment of anybody asking, so just surprised y'all. I get it. Yeah, he's saying we're actually live today and not a recording for the last 3
Well, Brett Pritchard is a traveling man, and if he's traveling more than Luke Robinson,
here we go. 3 seconds. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We're at JR's the other day for the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show, and man, just continuing to be a staple of Alexander City. Can't say enough about them. And Matthew Moore in a leadership role now over there, and he's doing a tremendous job at JR's. Man, just proud of him. We watched those kids grow up, guys, and
literally,
we absolutely did. And so, just proud of that tradition continuing on and that family with that great establishment here in Alexander City, and they continue to put out some of the best food around. It never gets old. It's amazing. They just continue to do great things for our community. And then, of course, Sunshine Heating and Air. Got a chance to catch up with Kevin Kill this past week, talk to him. It was great to talk to him, and always been a staple, too, of what we've done here with Sunshine Heating and Air. So you need heating and air work here in the Lake Martin area, you need to call on Sunshine Heating and Air. And Cliff, his main guy there, man, I don't know if there's anybody better out there at service. And he's comes out, diagnoses what you got, and makes it all better. So call on both of those establishments. We appreciate them so very much here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Just got a text. Burns last night. He had another great game.
It's great
on offensive line. He is a premier tackle out here for the Wildcats. And, I'm just proud of this offensive line as a whole, period, man. They really get after you. They're physical. There's nothing they back down from. And, it shows with the running game. We're able to line up and run the football when we need to run it. But they give Kingston plenty of time to survey the field and get the ball downfield to these targets. And he's got about 5. This is not just a Cedarian Morgan show or a BJ Bedgood show. I mean, I can go down the list. This is a talented group of receivers from DJ Jackson to Eric Young to Pierre to, I just keep on going. Just a lot of guys. And then 4 or 5 running backs, man. You got legitimately 4 or 5 guys you can interchange at running back there. I don't think you take a step back with any of them.
Well, Josh was one of our players of the game last night, Josh Harrell, and he had 17 carries for 94 yards. But I love the way he runs. Brett compares him to Roger Craig back in the day with those high knee pumps and just keeping the leg drive and never really stopping and always looking to go north and south. So I think that's a great comparison. But not sure who sent that over about Daniel Burns, but I'm glad they did. Daniel's another one of these players that the more film that gets out, the more chances he's going to get. What is he, Brett? 6'3", 285?
Yes.
He's having to play he has to play tackle in high school football, but I think he's an interior lineman in the college game. And here's what I like about Daniel, and I hope he ends up with an SEC offer because I think he deserves one. He is a great athlete. He can really get out on the perimeter and block the perimeter and then take it right up to the whistle and plays the game the right way. It's hard to, I don't know how these scouts look at that, Luke. You can talk a little more about it, but when you're 6'2", 6'3", and you're having to play left or right tackle in high school football, you could think, well, that's just not going to transition to the college game. But 6'2", 6'3", at the guard and center position does transfer to the college game and transfers well. But in high school, you don't have in communities like ours, you don't have a whole bunch of 6'4", 300-pound men walking around trying to take their turns at tackle. You got to take advantage of the ones that you got. So he's one. The more he's number 73, Luke. The more that you watch him play, the more that, and he's from a family full of super athletes and all big men. And one of them's, one of my best friends in his family, Seneca Knight. And so he's got a family full of great athletes. But maybe talk about that, Luke, how difficult it is to check out a talented kid that's having to play on the perimeter that will move inside when he gets to college.
Yeah, I think for the most part, unless you're just a freak athletically and physically, I think it's offensive line, based on what I've seen following recruiting, may be the most difficult position to evaluate. Because you can get an offensive line class and you just think, man, we loaded up, and then maybe none of them pan out. I mean, there's so many things that come into play, and you can measure, how quickly they run, but you think about time, like 40 times. That doesn't matter as much with an offensive lineman. I always said they should run a 3-yard dash. They don't need to run any further than 3 yards, and that's what you need to see.
They get called for a penalty.
Yeah, but I think it's very difficult to evaluate offensive. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it. That's just got to be so difficult. And even on the pro level, how many times do we see an offensive lineman not work out on the pro level that we think is just going to be a fantastic player? And then you got guys who are smaller and they just get after it, and technically they're very sound. I think everybody falls in love with, the size and the speed and the strength. But if you're not technically sound, all that other stuff kind of doesn't matter. I mean, look, again, not picking on, but Xavier Chaplin, you look at him and you think that guy, he's a first-round pick, right? I mean, everybody's thinking he is. And this year it's just not gelling. And there really is no rhyme or reason to why it's not gelling.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a very, obviously offensive line. That's why people say every time you talk about football, it dictates whether you're going to be successful or not at any level. And if you're not good on the lines of scrimmage, it doesn't matter what kind of skill guys you have. So a lot of credit goes to this offensive line for Benjamin Russell, because Benjamin Russell is loaded skill position wise. They've got everything you want in tailbacks and wide receivers and quarterback. And if you didn't have a line that could provide an opportunity for backs to run and for your quarterback to have enough time to survey the field, wouldn't matter how good any of them.
Well, but Brett, let me give a quick story right there on our offensive line coach. A conversation I had before the game last night.
I'm gonna let you pause real quick because we got about 25 seconds.
All right.
I want everybody to hear it on TV. I don't want it to get cut off, so we got to get the break here on the TV side. But I was going to lead into that. I'm glad you brought that up. I want you to tell that story because it's something I didn't know, and I know you didn't know it either.
No, I had no clue. And so, but it was a great night last night, a great win, and we'll move on and we'll hit some other scores around the state. Got a lot of good storylines that happened in region play last night when we come back from this next break.
All right, let's take another break here on TV. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Just let me start up this next segment.
I will. All right, Derek said camps and one-on-one with offensive line and defensive line usually is the go-to majority of the time. The defense is dominant.
Got Chili Billy out here.
Oh, you done got Chili out there, dude. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's done closed the Wizard of Oz curtain.
I don't want y'all to see what's behind the curtain. I don't want to see either. Andy can stick it. He says we get in this fight every year. Like when it's super hot, he's like, I said, I'd rather it be just freezing cold. And he said, no. And it finally got hot enough in August where he said, all right, I think you might be on to something.
Hey, Andy doesn't like that cold weather.
No, it brings bad stuff for Andy, man.
I mean, I'm sure, but when you did come, wheels were melting out there on the asphalt when he was trying to get into the station. He was like, okay, you may be on to something.
Did you tell Luke about Faith on the sideline? Was it a couple of weeks ago, Brett?
It was last week at Texas A&M.
Last weekend.
Part of her shoe melted.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that. I heard y'all talking about that.
God bless, man. Oh, he done got the blanket out in there.
Lord, no, I don't have a blanket. I'm trying to get a pillow. I'm trying to get situated here. Y'all just keep talking. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah. God, I'd hate for y'all not to be comfortable. Y'all take your time. So
that's how you get the best stuff out of me is when I'm most comfortable.
I mean, but it was so dang hot down on the field at A&M. Like, whatever genius put that black track around the outside of the turf, let's say it's not hot enough. Let's add some more heat over here. And it was brutal, man. It was
brutal. When we went there, people were taking or actually this is when Austin and them went there, but it was in the middle. It's like a 2:30 CBS game. And they said people were just taking like these frozen jugs of water into the game. They look like weapons. And they're just taking them into the game. And everybody's like, what's going on? I said, you'll know. And about third quarter, everybody's dumping that stuff just right over their head and it's evaporating before it gets to you. It's just awful. Dang it, I can't get this thing situated for nothing. Trying not to look. It looks like Jesus is coming through back over here. I know if he came here, he'd be like, I'm sorry, I got the wrong house.
Man, it's hard to believe that we got 3 more games, man, in high school.
Is that it for high school?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, it's not right how fast it goes by. Stupid.
All right, 20 seconds. It does go by so dang fast, man.
Who's next week?
We're off next week. Then you got Pelham that week after at home. Boy, they got killed last night.
Yeah, they did.
Who'd they play?
Spain Park.
Spain Park's good, man.
Yeah, quarterback's the real deal.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left here in hour number 1. Got some comments coming in. We'll get to them here in just a second. Randy, I'd like for you to tell the story you were about to go into last night about one of the assistant coaches at Benjamin Russell.
Well, we were bragging on the offensive line, and I think, a lot of times you don't give enough credit to the assistant coach that's building that group up. And Ezell Powell, and yes, for the Auburn fans, that's old offensive lineman there for Auburn, just a super, super player in his own right. A very big guy, you can tell. He's kind of like Coach Martin, Luke. When you see Coach Martin coaching and you'd walk up to him or he'd pick up 225 on the bench and just kind of pump it out as many times as he wanted, you go, yeah, he's a little bit different. He looks a little different than the rest of us. But I had a great conversation with a good friend of mine from high school, and that's Rodney Creighton. Rodney was there to watch Coach Foster and saw Ezell over there and didn't realize that Ezell was coaching for Benjamin Russell. And, of course, they came in at the same time at Auburn, same class at Auburn. And Rodney, by the way, is the fastest human I've ever seen in pads with my own 2 eyes. They snapped the football to him our junior year, and they had no backs in the backfield, and they said, Rodney, run right, and Rodney, run left. And they did it for 2 straight possessions, and we ran him out of bounds a couple of times, I told him, but he scored 2 touchdowns before we figured it out. Now, when we figured it out, it was like all 11 players go tackle 10. Like, wherever number 10 goes, go tackle him. And that was the only way you could stop him. But he said Ezell Powell was the very best athlete in the recruiting class coming in high school. And Luke was already keeping up with recruiting back then. But he said, Randy, Ezell weighed 315 pounds, and he could run a legit 4.8 40. He said he was that good an athlete. He said he could have easily been a first-round pick. He said we had a couple of guys that were first-round picks that couldn't block him ever in practice. Geno James was one. I can't remember if he said Kendall Simmons or someone else. I can't remember the player, but he said they couldn't block him. They couldn't touch him. So I didn't know that. You remember how, Ezell was and that he was a big recruit, but you didn't remember what kind of athlete some of these guys were back in the day. So, man, we're so lucky to have him, Luke. Talk about him a bit.
I'll tell you, the first thing you said, when he's that big, I don't worry about how fast he's going. I worry about how fast he can stop.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to be like the Kool-Aid man every time he comes to school, just brick walls going everywhere. But yeah, that's a good story. I'd sort of forgotten about Rodney for a second, though. I remember people talking about him and how fast he was. I mean, look, it's great when you've got guys like that still associated with everything in high school football. And again, that's why high school football is the best. I mean, it creates more. My son is a 10th grader in Ohio, and he's not playing. He's like on the JV team, but I mean, the camaraderie he has already formed with so many other people just by doing this. It's been amazing. So, and you can just see Randy's face light up when he talks about guys like this.
When you look at it from a standpoint of, I guess going along with your point, Luke, talking about building relationships and stuff and football and all that. Talking about Coach Powell coming to Benjamin Russell, this staff, like this team's got a lot of great players.
They got dudes,
but this staff is really the thing that kind of gets undersold, I guess, a little bit. When you look down on the field and you see the immense talent that's in this staff, from the coordinators to the position coaches, and they came from all over. This is not Kurt Johnson bringing his staff from Catholic. You got Connor Smith and Ezel Powell that stayed here that were part of the previous staffs. But then you add, I can go down the whole list, but they came from all over. I mean, from different schools to coach with Kurt Johnson and to be united, to be part of this. And it leads into this comment that Dr. Reyes just pops in and makes over here. He said Helena was a trap game. Record was not indicative of their talent. And I think he's spot on there. I mean, that you can't, you look at that record and go, okay, we're going to go in here and walk through this. And Helena's just not going to do that. They're going to play you tough. He said 7 weeks straight before our off week. Proud of our coaches and players. Our school system is on the cusp of greatness. I advise those who will better get on this train or you are going to miss it. Look, there is a ton of positivity going on around this program, not just the football program, but everything involved with Alexander City Schools right now. You're about finished with $103 million new high school and the facilities that are going to go with that. There won't be anything that our student athletes or our students in general long for. Everything will be top notch. Everything will be as good or better than anybody else has in this state. And then you see what comes with that, and you see what this program is. Look, we talk about all the other ones, but football kind of drives the bus for everything, and it gives you a lot of publicity statewide. And people are talking about Benjamin Russell everywhere I go. I was in Hartselle this past week. Me and Faith did the show in Hartselle. Coach Newton up there, first thing he said is, man, you guys have a great team down at Benjamin Russell. And the week before, wherever the heck we were, they talked about Benjamin Russell. And then when we were in Orange Beach, we talked about they bring it up. They know where we're from. They know Kurt Johnson. The thing that's crazy is how great a relationship Kurt Johnson has with all these coaches. And their face lights up when they talk about him. They really like him and what he brings to the table. And, Clay Chalkville's coach, they talk about it all the time. He's like, yeah, you guys were coming. Kurt called me and told me. And so he just has a great rapport with so many people in the state. And he's the Alabama Mississippi coach this year. The roster came out this week. So, yeah, I mean, there's a spotlight on Alexander City Schools right now, and rightfully so.
Well, one more thing about Ezel too. A lot like Willie Carl Martin. Look, I know there's some people who like you have to have played to coach or whatever. I mean, I look at somebody like Mike McDaniel and for the Miami Dolphins. He's obviously knows what he's doing. It's not translating on the field, but I think he's a pretty good offensive mind, and so you don't necessarily have to have played football, but it does help when you look over there. If you're a player and you see Ezel or you see Willie Carl Martin, and all of a sudden, like all the things you think you were going through are as good as you think you were, you're like, oh, I'm not that good. I'm not as good as him. I can still listen to him. Or if you were talking about a kid with maybe didn't have the best attitude as soon as Kurt Johnson got there, that sometimes when you have guys like him, you realize, hey, he can jerk a knot in my head, if you look over there and see coaches that aren't quite as big or into the sport or whatever, they may not listen to him as much, but you'll listen to Ezel. I promise you're going to listen to him. Now, you might be knocked out and not be able to hear him, but the words are going to be coming in your ears.
No, he's a great guy. And I did want to piggyback off a comment that Luke said. Rodney and I grew up at the same time. We're the same age. We played the exact same positions in 3 sports. Of course, he's a better athlete than I was, but you couldn't tell me that then. But it's different when you see success from people that you grow up with. And that's the beauty of this sport. That is the reason I light up, because I remember him when he was 9 and we were having to play each other for the first time. And I definitely remember him in the 7th grade where he weighed 70 pounds out there and he was the fastest thing you've seen. I mean, those type of relationships, I don't care if you're 47, 51 years old like you are, Luke. I don't care how old you are. You don't forget those the rest of your life. So it was great to see him, and he's doing great. So
Wish I was 50.
Glad. Well, I thought, how old are you, Luke?
I'm going to be 53 in about 3 weeks.
Oh, man.
Randy's all about numbers all of a sudden. He's got to bring in age every show.
I know.
And got to make sure he's specific about it.
Yeah, I know. He got to say it right on.
What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, it's like keep talking about this.
I was doing fine. Do you reminded me?
Really cement that we're old as hell. Like,
that's the beautiful thing, Randy. Randy, that's the beautiful thing of getting this old is that I forget how old I am until I look at my license.
I guess I'm closing in on 50, and it's hitting me hard.
God Almighty! Well, you wait till you get over here where I am.
Well, we're gonna get some new sponsors. The Geritol Hour coming up in hour number 2. So, all right, we'll take another break here on the show. Stay tuned. A lot more to come right after this.
I got a hammer toe in my cheekbones. That's how old I am. I got something wrong with everything.
Oh man.
I talked to, Austin went to Scotland and played golf with all those guys. And I saw him yesterday and he was sort of going, I said, what's wrong? He said, I ain't got any cards over there. I bet you he was dying.
Oh man.
I bet you that's the one part of this whole trip he was so excited about and he forgot. He gets out there and puts his bag down like, just where are the carts is?
Hey, you got one? Hey, look, Austin, you got one of them double strap bags you can put on your damn shoulders so you walk like a
And woe be it to the poor couch that had to take care of him when he got into the clubhouse, because I bet you that in Scotland they hadn't seen anything like that hitting that velvet. Like, you turned this couch into an ottoman. What happened here?
Oh man.
Derek Robinson says time for colonoscopies. He said he gets his in 3 months. Well, I got mine about a year ago, and then I also went to the Florida State game, and I think that counts.
Got another one.
They flushed out everything I had in me.
Luke, Brett and I get one every other week during the football season.
Y'all can eat off yours. That thing's so clean.
If you're an Auburn fan, you just get one weekly.
Hey, no doubt. God bless.
Like going to the Goo Goo car wash for y'all. Y'all just go in there once a week and get it cleaned out.
Brett, you gonna run down local scores?
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Yep.
Dayville had a tough one. They lost in overtime.
Man, they've lost 3 this year.
Close. They said Central Clay and Elmore County was a great game. I think Central Clay threw a touchdown with 20 seconds left.
Yep. 30 seconds.
They still are playing with like their backup quarterback, right?
No, that was Wilkerson.
Oh, he's back? Okay.
He threw the touchdown last night.
Yep.
Elmore County's pretty good though. And
Clay County, throw one up in the end zone. They're gonna catch it.
Where's Brian? Where's Brian when we need him?
Never seen anything like it. Do it every year to us. Don't matter what the score is. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. One segment left here in hour number 1. We'll get to some scores throughout the state of Alabama. We'll start locally here. One that was a shocker to me when I saw it come across last night, not because the team that beat them doesn't have a good program. They've been down a little bit here lately, but they've got a rich history, and that's Lynette knocking off Reeltown, the number 1 team in 2A. Lynette won that game 20-19. Had to have been an awesome game. I don't know how it played out. If anybody knows how that game ended or how it kind of went down, please feel free to send us some comments over here. But Reeltown lost to TR Miller to start the season like they did last year, and they ran the table last year and won the state championship. Kind of felt like they were going to do the same thing. It was going to be another one of those deals where they were able to run through the regular season, get to the playoffs, and have another shot and at a championship. Not gonna go undefeated the rest of the way, obviously, now with that loss, but I'm sure Reeltown will regroup. But kind of says more about Lynette. Randy, Lynette, obviously a lot better this year.
Well, a lot better, but they're a great program. How many state championships have they played for in the last decade? And great coach and Coach Story that put that team right back up at the top of 1A and 2A year in and year out. So that's not a program that you're shocked to see right the ship and get going back in a positive direction, Brett. So, yes, it's a shock this year because Lynette has been down, but maybe more importantly, be watching out for them to be back in the mix for the years to come.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll stay in 2A since we're doing local right now, and then we'll get to statewide here in just a minute. Horseshoe Bend fell 47-10 to Ranburne. Still haven't found a win this year. Came off a good season last year where they went to the playoffs, and again, though, finding it a little bit tough sledding this year with their schedule and the teams they're having to play. And again, Ranburne, another team is solid, but Horseshoe Bend right now struggling to score points.
Yeah, a little bit surprising. They were able to win 6 football games last year and make it into the playoffs, and thought Coach Phillips had, got that program maybe to a physical standpoint that they could be a little more competitive this year, week in and week out. But that classification's tough, Brett. If you take a slight step back, you're going to be exposed. It's going to show, and it's showing this year.
All right, Davil, and we got some comments over here on the right side, and this seems to be a commonality for a lot of people throughout the state. And I know we've seen our share, unfortunately, but Lee Scott knocked off Davil 27-20 in overtime. Really, Lee Scott and Glenwood, since they've made the move over to HSA in that particular region, they've been the top of that region, and I think both of them are still undefeated in region play there. I'd have to go back and check, but Derek said that was the worst officiated game. Davil versus Lee Scott missed an obvious defensive holding on a pass play that ended with an interception. Kyle said, yeah, absolutely something they were setting up all game. 23 had him beat on that hitch and go. So obviously Davil in overtime right there loses another one. That's another overtime loss for Davil this year, and they lost another close game. Could easily have 3 more wins under their belt, and instead they've got 1 win on the season. I think they're 1-5 now on the season. So, but they got a stretch coming up. If I look at it and they hold serve, and again, Davil's been right there with some of the top teams in the region. They should win, at least 2 more of those games coming down the stretch. They've already got 1 win against Beulah, so that should at least solidify them getting in the playoffs and being that 4 seed at minimum. Unless they're able to upset somebody they've got left on the schedule.
Well, that'd be a tough 4 seed matchup because they're competitive, and most of the time you're expecting a really bad program in that 1 and 4 seed, or at least nowhere near to the level of the 1 seed. And Davil's, I think, better than that. But Lee Scott's undefeated. Lee Scott puts up a lot of yards offensively. They play a physical brand of football. It's a different back. That's getting big chunks of yardage each week. So, no, they've had no problem moving over from AISA to HSA. Now, will they win a state championship? We'll see. It doesn't really – all of us would like to win a lot of state championships, but one thing for certain that you said there, Brett, is Lee Scott and Glenwood's got really good programs, and that's not going to end now.
Yeah, you got to feel good about your future if you're Lee Scott and Glenwood just coming over, because I can tell you right now, most people thought, hey, this is going to be a rude awakening, and this has been anything but.
Glenwood didn't even lose in the regular season last year, and I know they were disappointed. They got beat in the first round of the playoffs. Just took again, getting used to it though. That just shows you that there was maybe a slight little curve, but they've embraced the move to the HSA. They both really, really good programs, only getting stronger. Over in 5A, we just mentioned it before we came back on there. Central Clay won a barn burner against Elmore County, 21-14. Apparently made a pass right there at the end of the game into the end zone, like Central Clay does all the time. If they throw one to the end zone, it's going to be caught. It doesn't matter if there's 10 men standing down there or not. It finds a way to find their receiver. I've seen it way too many times. They did it us this year right at the end of the first half. They did it a couple years ago on a 4th and 17 play and caught a pass. They just do that. So not surprised to see that they caught a pass in the end zone to win a game. But, Elmore County, Kyle Caldwell, he changed the culture down there at Elmore County, and they are just a tremendous program. I know they couldn't get over the hump last night against a very good Central Clay team. But, Randy, you kind of said this earlier a couple weeks ago. Central Clay is a good football team, and they're probably going to run the table in the regular season now that they've gotten past Elmore County, and then they'll make a deep run in 5A in the 5A playoffs again. But, just showed you the discrepancy between Benjamin Russell and them this year and how much more of a step the Wildcats have taken.
Well, I think it's more of a discrepancy between 5A and 6A. I think the difference in those two classifications is tremendous. And we've said that over the years when we've bounced up and down that classification. And I think that we're only a good 10 or 20 students above that classification now. I've been, screaming at the top of my lungs, Lord have mercy, figure out how to get us down in that classification consistently, because I think we missed 5A 2 cycles ago by 8 students. And so I think Central Clay, if you watch the playoff run start, Brett, I know Moody's really good, but they coach them up so well. They're playing great football right now. If they get to the playoffs with a 9-1 mark and the 1 seed, Brett, you don't want any part of them, and they could find their way deep into the playoffs. I think Viger's really good again out of the South.
They are. They're number one in that.
But I don't know how many teams are way better than Central Clay. So I could see them making a deep run this year. I could.
All right, let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll finish up high school. We'll run down the rest of the scores, and then we'll get into some college. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
All right, I got to leave it with you. I got to head to my photo op for flag football. Goodbye.
Go get them.
When do you have to jet out?
I probably got another 10 minutes.
Okay. Thanks, y'all.
I mean, I'll squeeze what I can till I get yelled at.
You squeeze a little orange out right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to get, let me see if I can get
Faith.
Oh no, Lord, no. She
ain't up.
Probably under the cover. She's got a drive too. She got a long drive today. So
where's she going?
To Mississippi.
For the hell of it, or
no, she misses traveling so bad she's just gonna get up and drive. No, she's going to see her boyfriend for the first time, and he was actually in Texas A&M. He and his parents. And
what does he do?
He's about to be in PT school. So they just graduated from Ole Miss. So
are they engaged?
They are not.
No.
I think it's coming soon. I don't know when that's happening, but I think it's coming sooner than she probably even thinks. So not that I have any inside information or anything. So let me see real quick. It sounds kind of Darth Vaderish. Yeah, we have traveled, man, the last month.
What are you going to do?
What, today?
Oh, you got that wedding this week. I can't. I mean, I'm still asking, what are you going to do? Because I'd find me a way out of that thing. But it is the worst weekend for games, probably. So,
yeah. I'm going to get Dr. Reyes to be on with us here in a little bit after you get off. So, got 30 seconds. I forgot how much nature was going on. It's so quiet when Randy left. Again, we had the forest out there with the birds.
like a Sirius XM channel I put on when I go to sleep, I like to put on nature sounds or rain or something. And it's Randy had to doze off.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Hour number 2, got Luke here for one more segment, and then he's going to get yelled at and have to leave as well. So let's get to some scores. We'll go back to 7A. Carver Montgomery continues to roll. They knocked off a good program in Enterprise last night, 49-14. Was not shocked, but they continue to play really well. Phoenix City over Auburn, 36-0. Man, they have really separated themselves really from everybody, probably even from Thompson, because Clay Chaltville, wins for the 3rd consecutive year over Thompson. But Phoenix City, man, I know they got dusted by IMG. I don't know why anybody even scheduled that group anymore. But Phoenix City over Auburn, man, that's eye-opening, 36-0.
Yeah, I guess they're missing the running back that enrolled early at Auburn.
Omar Madsen, but it wasn't
Omar Madsen, yeah. And, I mean, because if he'd been on the team, you'd think but a running back typically is not going to make up 36 points in 7A football. Now, in 1A, sometimes it can.
Oh, yeah.
In 7A is probably not going to make that big a difference. I mean, it is a little shocking. And also, I mean, maybe they caught them right after the IMG game, which was probably not the best time you want to catch a Central Phoenix City squad. But, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I used to love for IMG to go somewhere and play, and I do think it brings some exposure and gets your team on TV. But the other thing it does, it gives IMG an up-close look at whatever players they might want to poach from your school. So I'm not sure I'd do it anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't invite them back anymore at all. All right, so Hoover over Oak Mountain, 48-21. Mary Montgomery is the team in the South in 7A. They continue to just destroy people. They knocked off Alma Bryant 42-8. Opelika, as we mentioned earlier, in a barn burner, 21-14 over Dothan. That's a very good Dothan team. Thompson again, 34-12 over Hewitt-Trussville. And then Vestavia over Prattville, 54-28. Our good friend Stacy. It's been tough sledding for the Prattville Lions for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're about to find out who the real Prattville fans are. I mean, it's times like this you find out who the fans are.
You do, and just have not been able to kind of get up off the mat in the last several years, and going to continue to get tough in that region they're in. In Class 6A, we mentioned Ben Russell over Helena, 28-10. It was Chelsea over Chilton County, 30-0. Clay Chaltville over Mountain Brook, 49. I don't know, man. Clay Chaltville is a machine. They got a great coaching staff. They got great players all over the field. Just a dominating performance there by Clay Chaltville.
Clay Chaltville is so good, and it's like they got the kid that's committed to Ole Miss, Corey Barber.
Right.
And I mean, even if they didn't have him, they still be the number 1 team in the state.
Yep, you're right. Homewood over Gardendale, 42-9. It was Hartselle shutting out Coleman, 24-0. Again, that was the game of the week. We were up there with Coach Newton this past week, and they continue to do really good things. Oxford over Pell City, 36-31. That was a good football game. Parker, no problem with Jackson Olin, 52-6. Russell County continues to roll. They beat a good Stanhope team, 28-10. This is a very good Russell County team, maybe the best one we've seen in a long time. So they knock off Stanhope there. Pike Road over Park Crossing, 54-7. Spain Park destroyed Pelham, 42-7. That's Benjamin Russell's next opponent in a couple of weeks there against Pelham. And then little bit better for Murphy this week. Theodore only beat them 31-0. Last week they got beat 100-0. So they I don't know what they worked on. It offensively not much anymore, but I don't know that I'd ever seen anything like that when I saw that score roll across last week. And let me just say, they asked for the Williamson asked if they wanted to run in clock, and then Sherman Williams said, "No, we're gonna stay with this," and then said, "Okay, all right, stay with it and see how it works out." I mean, at some point in time, I think you got to force a running clock. You got to say, "Wait, no, you don't get
For safety.
you don't get a chance to decide if you want one or not. We're going to decide it for you." But had you ever seen anything like that, Luke? 100-0.
It's hard to get there just from the time of it all. I mean, the quarters aren't as long as college football, and it's hard to do. I mean,
they had to score every time they touched the ball.
I mean, like, you don't, if you spot the chains and if you were running hurry up, I mean, it's almost like it had to be a one-play drive every time and then a pick six when it's the other side. I mean, it's crazy.
It wildest thing I think I've ever seen. Couldn't believe it. I guess some defensive scores too, as well. Derek said, "Do you think Bobby Carr wishes he would have stayed at Carver instead of going to Prattville?" Yeah, I mean, Carver continuing to be dominant over there. So, all right, so let's go down to 5A. Again, Central Clay over Elmore County, 21-14. Viger over Alberta, 49-0. No problem there. Good game here between Valley and Sylacauga. Valley knocked off Sylacauga 42-35. Here was crazy. We had a comment on this earlier. St. Clair County over Leeds, 50-49 in overtime. Luke, and I think, let me go back up and see. Wayne said that's the first time since 2009 St. Clair County knocked off Leeds. So what a high scoring game, good game there between those two programs. Down to 4A, just going to select a few scores.
Leeds and Moody next week too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it could be really, really good. Hanley over Bullitt County, 33-7. Orange Beach over Escambia County, 29-22. They've got a great coaching staff. But the highlight there is St. Michael over Jackson, 49-39. Luke, that Gunner Rivers and Phillip Rivers, they just outscore people. They did it last year, fell in the playoffs, but man, they may be the team to watch now.
Yeah, he wears number 17. He's got sort of a unique delivery, just like his dad. I wouldn't say his delivery is just like his dad's, but last night I saw him on a play. It was like fourth down and right before the half, and he rolls out to his left and he sort of throws it off 1 foot, sort of jumping backwards, and like nobody's really around him. I mean, it's just unconventional, and the ball was put in a perfect spot. Now the guy didn't make the catch because the defender also did a good job, but I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that guy's good. I mean, he's just a dude.
He absolutely is.
When you think about him and Trent Seaborn in the same class, the kid who's the quarterback at Auburn.
Right.
And I mean, that next year's quarterback class is strong in the state.
Very, very strong. Going down to 1A, I just had a comment about Wadley up there. It's Wadley and Maplesville, man. I mean, there ain't anything else. I mean, Leroy's undefeated still. They beat Marengo 60-22, but Wadley over Woodland 49-7. I'm sure that could have been way worse. I'm sure they called it off there. But Maplesville continues to be a massive force, and those two teams played for a state title last year. Would be shocked if it wasn't those two teams again. And Wadley handled Maplesville pretty easily last year. Luke, I don't think that's going to happen this year, even though Wadley.
No, I called Maplesville in the Champions Challenge. They're on a mission. I think it's going to be a great game. I mean, it's going to be tough to stop Wilkes. I mean, he's obviously the best player in 1A. But they got some dudes on the defensive side. Maplesville does, and I'm telling you, they're ready. They're ready.
Well, Luke, I know you got to get out, and appreciate you being on with me as long as you can. And we're going to go ahead and take another break for TV. Hopefully, when I come back, I'll have Dr. Jay Reyes with me from Alexander City, and to talk about some really good things going on here in this area. Again, football program is competing at the highest level right now, so going to be interesting to hear some of the things that he's got to say. about what's going on in Alexander City Schools. So I'll get him to pipe in here in just a minute. So stay tuned. A lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this. All right, guys, I'm going to solo it out for a little while until I get Dr. Reyes on with me. So any comments or anything, any scores, any games you want to talk about, throw them at me, and we'll talk some college football. Obviously, the slate of games not the best today, but we'll definitely talk about that as well as we dive on into the second hour here on Saturday Sports Countdown. There he is right there, Dr. Jose Reyes. And Dr. Reyes, we're on break right now, but we're still live streaming on break for TV. So I'll just kind of give you the nod and all when we're coming back. So appreciate you jumping on this morning, last minute.
Absolutely. I'm getting too old to stay out till midnight, 12:30 in the morning, but I wouldn't have it any other way on a Friday night.
Yeah, I know it. I know. I want to wait. We'll dive into specifics. So I can get you to stay on with me for a couple of segments here, because I know we got a lot to talk about this morning. I just want to let everybody know that, again, all the great things that are going on here in the Alexander City area. Just proud to be part of it as a board member. I know you're proud to be part of it as the superintendent, and but you guys have made some really good hires, and it's showing. Let's just be honest about it, and we'll dive into that a little bit more. But hey, last night, really good football game. Helena, a good football team.
Yeah, they were, and I worry every Friday night. My wife can tell when I get home to pick her up, must go back to the game. She can always tell that I'm a little tense and a little nervous, but it's one of those games. Week 7, we've been out there 7 straight weeks before our bye week. Helena, while they were 1-4, I watched the Moody game, and I also watched them play Spain Park, and I knew they had a good front 7 on the defense, and I think they showed that last night. On the back end, they were a little weak, and we did exploit that some, but they run the ball very well. We're very limited in the passing game, but that offensive line had good size, and they still can grind on you. And we gave up one series there late, but for the most part, our front 7 handled their business. And just a great game by several people. Baby J made those 2 big plays that really just sealed the deal. I got a little worried there at the end. I was a little confused at 21-7. They're 4th and 8 on our 8-yard line. 4th and goal, and I was shocked that they kicked the field goal. That was over. I mean, they had to score twice. The field goal meant nothing, and so I was a little confused there. But hey, if that's the route they chose, we'll certainly take it. But I think. Yeah, 2 weeks, we get a little bit of rest and for the last push, and we're in command of our own destiny at this point.
All right, let's get back to it on TV here. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad to have Dr. Jose Reyes with me now here on the show, Superintendent of Alexander City Schools. Dr. Reyes, welcome in. Appreciate you joining us this morning.
Absolutely, Brett. Glad for you guys to have me, and just another big win for our program as we push towards the playoffs.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I'll start there. 6-1 on the season, already 7 football games under the belt. Now you move into the latter part of the season. It's hard to believe how fast the season goes by when it gets here.
Yeah, it is. And, we're 7 weeks in, controlling, again, our own destiny with the last 2 region games. We'll be home versus Pelham and then on the road at Chelsea. We get one of those 2, and you're looking at your 6A region champs from our area. So, it's played out like, we kind of thought it would, to be honest. We knew we had some players coming back, made a great hire in Kirk Johnson and added some staff. And, I think, Brett, from my perspective, what makes my job easier is when you have a board that realizes this very thing, that, there are people that talk about doing things, and then there are people that do things. And, when you have a board that's supportive and you lean on them and you keep them involved in the decision-making process, it makes it a lot easier for a superintendent to go out and do the things that he or she needs to do. So, I'd like to say that, everything we do is, all because of me, but I know that's not true. I've got a great board, a great administrative staff, and we've been able to put together, a staff at Benjamin Russell that I think is going to take us deep into the playoffs this year.
Well, I think you said it best, and I talked about it earlier in the show. As you get a comment from Derek down here, it says you got a good coach in Coach Foster coming over from Dadeville High School, who's been a staple here in Tallapoosa County, and and the coaching staff as a whole. I look down, and Kurt Johnson obviously is the cog in the wheel, but he went out and he sought out some of the best assistant coaches here in the state, and they came from all over. When I look down on that sideline, from Cody Hodgins to Michael Hale as your two coordinators to your position coaches, I don't want to name them all because I can't name them all. I'll leave somebody out for sure, but that's where it all starts. And then when those guys go up on the hill at practice and they get the players, and the players are trying to learn who they are, it doesn't take them long to figure out that this group knew what they were doing. And you want to be part of a championship program, you're going to listen to those men, and they're going to lead you in the right direction. Now, I thought, and again, I thought Baby J, we call him Baby J, LaJavius Calhoun, had a phenomenal night last night. But I thought Kurt, said it best, and it's a good story for everybody to hear out there. And I think if Baby J were on this show with us today, he would say this. Kurt said it last night on the post-game interview with Faith after the game. He said, Baby J was a kid when I got here, frankly, and after I had some interaction with him, I didn't think he was going to make it, because of my style of coaching and the things that, maybe some conflicts with personalities and stuff. But he said now he's probably my favorite player to coach on this team because he's bought in. He saw what Coach Johnson and this staff could do for him. And he has blossomed, man. He is playing. The talent's always been there for Baby J. He's always been a great player, but man, he really, on a team loaded with D1 players, he's maybe shining as bright as anybody. He had 2 pick sixes last night in a football game, which is unbelievable. Like, that doesn't happen at any level. To get 1 in your lifetime is great, but to get 2 in the same game, and those were reads by him. He went out, got the football, and then his ball skills to find the end zone. But those are the stories, Coach, that you're seeing come out of this coaching staff and this team, is they're taking kids and they're transforming them into the best version of themselves.
Yeah. And, Baby J's one that, of all of our players, and obviously you said we've got a lot of great players. If you're talking about one-on-one and you have to tackle him in the open field, he's not only the fastest, but he's the most elusive player that we have. And so, his talent and ability is showing. And, here's the thing, whether it's superintendent, whether it's principal, whether it's head football coach, what Kurt does is something that, I've tried to do throughout my career. And, before you can get people to do things that you want them to do, they've got to know that you care about them. They got to know that you love them. And Kurt, there are times when he has to be hard on our kids, and that's what we want. We're not out there, to just keep boys boys. I mean, we want to take boys and turn them into men, because what Kirk understands is, football is going to only be a short part of all their lives. And what they've got to do is go out and be a husband and a father. And so Kirk is hard on them, but they know that he loves them. And because of that, they do exactly what he wants them to do. So I can't say enough, not only about, the football players he's turning the kids into, and that coaching staff is turning our kids into, but they're turning these kids into grown men, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And I think that's, again, anytime you're in a program, you want to be able to see, your kids develop, like you said, into people that are going to be able to go on past high school football and go have good careers and come back and be, good members of your community and your society. I know Randy was talking about catching up with Rodney Creighton from Dadeville last night. He was there to watch Coach Foster because, that's what good coaches do. We see players come back and to see Kirk every week that players he coached at other schools. They follow him when they get a chance. And you see a kid that was so successful at Dayville, like Rodney Creighton, make it a point to come up here and be with Coach Foster at Benjamin Russell. And then he found out one of his teammates at Auburn was on the staff, and Ezel Powell. Got a chance to catch up with him and talk about that. You never break those bonds. You never break those networks and those relationships. So it's guys like Jesse Foster and Ezel Powell and all that make your program what they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And people, may not know this, but listen, Ezel Powell, I knew Ezel when he was in high school. I was in Troy, refereed basketball and football. And so, that's how I first got to know him a little bit as a high school kid. And, Jesse and I refereed basketball, when I was in Alex City for 11 years, got to know Jesse when he was Rodney's assistant and then when he was the head coach. And, when I saw an opportunity to go out and get a top-notch basketball and football coach, I picked up the phone and I called Jesse and I said, hey, can we talk? And it worked out great. Jesse's been a great add to our staff as well as the other coaches. But what you see is with the coaches, they know that this program is on the cusp of greatness and this school system's headed in the right direction. And so not only do you have coaches wanting to come be on our staff, Brett, just quite frankly, we've got kids and families calling us, me, Mr. Benefield, wanting to come and take a look at the things that we have. And, when people see you're making an investment in the future of our student athletes and students, they want to be a part of that. And listen, I don't shy away from that. We want to build a program where people want to come here, and that's what we're doing. And I say this all the time. If you're wanting to get on the train, now's the time, because it's left the tracks, and we're building up some steam, and we are making strides in all areas of our school system.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that here in the next segment with you. As we go to break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown for TV, we'll come back here in just a minute. We got a lot more with Dr. Reyes when we come back. Thank you. All right. We're still up, obviously, on stream. But, continuing to talk about, building a vision and having a vision of what you want to do. And I really feel like you look at all phases of the school system. Again, like you said, you're not shying away. I'm not either. There was a family and a couple students up touring the school this past week when I was there to talk to Coach Jay for the pregame interview that we always cut during the week. So, and that seems to be a weekly occurrence. So, I think one of the situations is that, you're not having to go out and solicit anybody. They're coming to you. That's where the difference is. And you got people that are hearing and are reading and are seeing what good things are going. And that's to any community in the state that's got a lot of great things going on. You're going to be competing with those few communities. So.
Yeah, I know. And that's exactly what's happening. Brett, I think about, just our relationship. I mean, I was in Calhoun County and you guys, called and talked to me. And here's what happened. The community, what was going on in the community, in the school system, is what recruited me to come back to Alexander City. And so that's what you're seeing families do in this area. They're seeing the investment that we're making in our facilities, academically, athletically, and in the arts. I always talk about the 3 A's. Every kid is going to be involved in one of those 3 A's. And so what's happening is that parents want to put their kids in the best position to be successful. And, right now in Central Alabama, you tell me a school system that's investing more into their student athletes and their students as a whole. There's not anybody. No, there's not. And so, if we have families that are interested, like you said, we're not going out and soliciting. Our system is recruiting itself, and that's just the way of the world. And again, right. we're gonna put our system in the forefront, and we're gonna let people know we're here. And listen, if you want to be a part of us, we're more than happy to have a discussion.
We got about 15 seconds, and we'll be back for TV. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left here in the show this morning. Glad to have Dr. Jose Reyes with me for another segment here. Continuing to talk about the great things going on with the Alexander City school system. Obviously, last night, the football game, Wildcats improved to 6-1 on the season, 4-0 in 6A Region 3 in the driver's seat there for another region championship. Let's flip over and talk about the momentum, though, that's going on with the new high school. Just a few months out from being in this new high school, and Dr. Reyes, one of the things you look at is the vision that it's been a long time in the making, but got some people in position to make this thing happen. And the publicity going on and the people that have had the privilege of going out and having a sneak peek of this place are just blown away with the facilities. Just a phenomenal place. When you go over there, it's kind of breathtaking to see how enormous that high school is. But just the opportunities that will be in that building for our students is tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 215,000 square feet, $103 million. We should be up and running to accept students there from the old Benjamin Russell, moving them within the next 3 months or so, January, February. And yeah, it's been a long process. We talked about this over a decade ago when I was there as the high school principal. So it's been a long process. A lot of people have had a part in making this happen. But yeah, I mean, you have, we talk about here on this show a lot about athletics, but, you've got so much more at that high school, state of the art auditorium where we'll have our plays and performances and things of that nature, a band room, state of the art. Career tech, we talk about three things in this area that are very big. The welding, the culinary, and the nursing. Again, even if you don't participate in athletics, we have an opportunity to help people get to college academically and then get into the workforces with those three things that I've just mentioned. So, and then, the facilities athletically on campus, you're talking about, I always say it's not a gymnasium, it's an arena. When kids go into that particular place to play basketball, to do volleyball, to wrestle, they're going to realize they're not in a normal gymnasium. It's an arena. We look forward for the use of that. And then the weight room, Brett, we're going to have enough room for 20 power racks. And anybody that knows athletics understands what a power rack is. And, we went and saw 3 or 4 big time programs, and 18 was the most that I counted. And we'll have 20 in ours. So, some other things coming up, an outdoor facility, about a $4.5 million project is what we've talked about, a turfed outdoor facility, turfing the entire baseball and softball field. So we're making investments not only in our football program, but all of our athletic programs. And again, it's going to be a draw, and people want to be a part of something special. And I think we're well on our way to being that.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And again, it takes vision, and it takes obviously you got to have the resources to do things like this. And, I'll applaud boards before I was on there and administrators before you and I were in the position we're in, Coach, good stewards of funds here in the Alex City schools. And, understanding that, you got to be physically sound to be able to do the things that you want to be able to do and to move forward in the future. And their soundness positioned us to be able to do the things that we're doing now here in the school system. And, not just the high school, but the renovations that are going on with the other schools. And, everything's just coming together. And again, when you look at it, and I have the privilege of traveling the state probably as much or more than anybody with the Alabama High School Athletic Association Radio Network. We're on the road every single week going and visiting high schools and communities. And again, there's some great ones out there. But when I come back to Alex City, I know we're biased on here right now, but it's the truth. I mean, nobody, like you said, is investing more and putting more time and energy into their students than we're doing here in Alexander City.
Yeah. And, one of the mindsets that, I've had since I've been here, and I ask kids, especially grades 7 through 12, every time I go to the schools, when I see kids in the hallway, my question is, tell me what you're doing. What I liked last night when we had our youth night, you had all our football players from our youth leagues, all of our cheerleaders, We had some seventh graders in our band come over and play.
Right.
We want people to understand that are here and that want to come here. That's the question that we have for our students is, what are you involved in? Tell me what you do. What we don't want is we don't want students that go through the Alexander City school system, especially secondary grades 7 through 12, not to be involved in something. We're going to continue to push that, and some parents may get tired of me asking that question to their kids, but that's what I'm going to ask them. What are you involved in? We want people that are going to be active and contributing to the legacy of Benjamin Russell High School. And you can do that in many, many ways. So, getting kids involved, getting them involved in organizations, that's going to keep them on track, and that's going to help them be successful. So we want all of our kids to be involved in something.
Another thing that going back and remembering people that have been part of your program and staples of your program, you made it a point to go back and honor some people here in the last 6 months. And whether it be naming a road going into the school, or whether it be naming an arena floor, or naming a wrestling room, or whatever. And there's going to be some more. I know you got plans to do some more things to honor people that have been legacies here in this city and in this school system.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about the Barbara Youngs, the Paul Carneys, the Dwight Busbys, Coach Charles Lee, those are people that what we're trying to do is, as we move into the future with the new high school, we want to bring the past into it as well. There's not a lot of towns, Brett, and I'm not originally from Alexander City, but that's what I call home. That's, where I spent the majority of my adult life when my kids were growing up. And, there's just so many people in this state that have achieved so much that did it in Alexander City. You think about the Willie Carl Martins, the Steve Savarises, you think about Danny Horn was here. You think about Pam Robinson. You think about just name after name after name of people that they know who this person is when you call their name. And it says a lot about our history and the legacy that we've had here. So again, it's a situation where we want to bridge the past and the future. And I think we're doing a good job of that. And, Brett, what I look forward to is seeing, who's going to be that next person that's going to come from Alexander City that's going to make a difference in this world.
Yeah, and so many have already. And again, like you said, I tip the hat to your vision coming here. Nobody would never know that you weren't born and raised here. I can tell you, like, nobody has become more of a fan and loves this school system more than you. And again, it was kind of our vision. And I knew that. Look, in going out, I don't think it's a secret any longer. To me, there was only one person right for us at this time to go out and get to be our leader in this school system. And, the board unanimously agreed with that. And I happened to be the president of the board when that search, and appreciative of Dr. Price, and, being able to spend a couple of years with her, and, thought she did a tremendous job of getting this school system or getting this school build off the ground and finally turning the page and getting the things done. But then when she decided it was time for her to retire, there was one person I wanted to go after, and the board agreed. And, I'm glad we were able to make it right. And I think you and I had a conversation the other day when we were heading to a meeting. The good Lord puts people in paths at the right time. He doesn't make any mistakes. And, 11 years ago, things didn't work out, or however many years it was. It wasn't 11 years. You were here 11 years. However many years ago it was, Coach, it didn't work out. Maybe you were thinking that ship sailed, but you never know. You never give up on your hopes and your dreams. And we're just glad to have you back here as our leader.
Well, we're glad to be back. And again, you never know the path that you're going to travel. But whatever that path is, when you get there, it was the right one. And so, again, it was the right time. I can't say enough about coming in after Dr. Price. She kind of calmed the waters, made it a lot easier for me to step in. So I appreciate, again, the good work that she did. And we stay in contact quite often. And Beverly stops by from time to time. And, she's always welcome. And I know she's from Dadeville, but she'll always –
No.
She'll always be a Wildcat. So we appreciate that. And again, just looking forward to the future. Here's what I said, Brett, when we beat Spain Park a couple weeks back. When I looked up into the stands and saw the students, I saw the band rocking, I saw the cheer and the dance team and how the football team reacted, and I saw the stands. And Brett, I've seen people at our games this year that we haven't seen in a long time. And I looked, and I don't remember who I said this to, but I got a little emotional about it. But I told him, I said, I can see things turning.
Yep. And I can see the emotion right now, and that you can't fake that. And that tells you that a lot that's the result of a lot of daggum hard work and a lot of fighting and a lot of pieces falling into place to get this program to where it is and to get this school system where it is. And look, I don't think anybody can ever deny your passion, Coach.
Well, love the maroon and white. Just love it. And I think we've got it heading in the right direction. Again, we're getting people involved that hadn't been involved in a while, and there's a lot of pride in this town. Brett, you know that. There's a lot of pride. I say this all the time. We're like family. Hey, sometimes brothers and sisters fight. But I say this all the time. If you come to Alex City and you jump on one of us, it doesn't matter if you're black, brown, or white. You jump on one of us, and we all gonna jump on you. So nobody comes into Alex City and pushes us around.
Yep, that's right. And again, you got to have that mentality. And there's a lot of communities that have the same mentality, but we definitely have it here in Alexander City. And I know you know Trey. He just said Mr. Reyes was an enforcer at the middle school, and he said the football program is back like it was before Coach Martin left. Just to be honest, so it just feels that way. Like you said, just looking up in the stands, seeing a full crowd, seeing the energy, seeing things the way they should be. Let's just put it that way. So, well, Dr. Reyes, we really appreciate it. We're going to go to break here for TV, get you to stay on for about 2 more seconds here as we close out on the online side. But everybody stay tuned. A lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for jumping on with us this morning. And again, a lot of great things, everybody, going on. So again, Kurt Johnson, you saw what he did at Catholic, and he comes over here, and I've been fortunate enough to be around some really good coaches the last few years and see their programs by traveling with the show that we do every week. And I don't know that there's one better out there that handles himself and leads a group of men and coaches and players better than he does. I don't.
Yeah. Well, and Kirk's like, and I've been fortunate through my career, now to be around Kirk. I was around Danny Horn, around John Mask and Tallahassee, around Earl Miller at GW Long, the great baseball program they've had. And all those people, again, Brett, it's the same thing. They demand a lot from their players, but the players and the coaches know that they love them and they want what's best for them. And while they were training them to win games, they were training them to be young men and to go out and make a difference in the world. And that's the difference between.
Well, every one of those guys you just rattled off, I mean, they're just class acts, and they're champions, and they're Hall of Famers for a reason. Some of them haven't made it to the Hall of Fame, but their future is going to be the Hall of Fame for them. But some of them already there, and look, what a blessing it is for me. I mean, I got to spend 10 years with Danny Horn, on a week in and week out basis during football season. And really, from a professionalism standpoint, but then from a friendship standpoint, I still, appreciate him for what he is and what he's been able to do at every program he's been at. The guy just wins. It's not a coincidence. They just have a pattern that they take with them, and they implement it, and it works wherever they go. So, but been blessed to be around a lot of great people, and continue on. But Coach, appreciate you being on with me this morning.
Yep, I'll see you soon.
Okay, buddy. See you next week. All right, it's Dr. Jose Reyes with the Alexander City School System, and appreciate him jumping on with me this morning to kind of talk about everything going on here in the Alex City schools. Trey said Coach Kurt Johnson got that mojo. right now. He said, and he genuinely touches the kids. The community is buying in. It's a great hire. Yeah, I mean, the energy, you can't be around a guy like Kurt Johnson and not have high energy. That's the thing, you learn very quickly. And, he's not a Debbie Downer, and, he kind of permeates everybody around. And, and if you are one of those, he's going to call you out. And so, that's what makes him the coach he is. And, the reason he's able to have the program that he has wherever it is that he goes. But we're glad to have him here in Alexander City. All right, so for the last couple segments here on the show, let's go through college. Not the best slew of games, I guess, on tap today, but we'll talk about those and then talk a little bit about, obviously, we cover Auburn on a daily basis, talk about some of the things that's going on there here in the off week for them. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Couple segments left on the show this morning. I'm going to solo it out here for the rest of the way. So if you got some comments or questions, or anything you'd like to talk about, please throw it to me. Going to dive into the college side right now, and Auburn off this week. And, again, into the bye week. Coming off 2 road losses to Oklahoma and Texas A&M, close games where Auburn had an opportunity to win both of those games and just could not get over the hump and could not make the play. So it's been a long week discussion on, why is Auburn back in this situation and why do they find themselves having this discussion each and every year. It boils down to leadership, just what we've been talking about for 2 segments here. On the high school side, the leadership, things aren't translating and aren't being communicated between the units over on the offensive side of the football, just to be frankly honest with you about it. So a reevaluation of the program, I get tired of that term. Frankly, I'm exhausted. I said it yesterday on the podcast. I just get there should not be in this situation with what Auburn was able to do going out into the portal, getting the offensive linemen that they've gotten, getting the players they've gotten to build this roster up, the schedule, the way it's set up. Wasn't expecting Auburn to go on the road and sweep A&M and Oklahoma, but felt like if you were a team that was going to compete for a playoff spot and be at the top of this conference, you could go on the road and get one of those games. Should have got both of them. That's the thing that's the most painful, and gotten away from what won the game against Baylor, running the football. And you knew you had to run the football, and Coach Freeze talked about running the football all week leading up to the Texas A&M game and having to do better there. And the results on the field don't match what you said all week. So there's a disconnect somewhere. I don't know what it is. Obviously, the defensive side of the football is fine. DJ Durkin is doing exactly what he did last year. You see a unit that continues to get better each and every week. And they've kept Auburn in these football games and given them chances to win, and just cannot find ways to get it done offensively. Can't get drives going. Putrid on third down conversions. Too many pre-snap penalties, setting them behind the chains. All of that culminates into why you're not getting W's. And you have some comments here. Patrick, I don't know. I heard bye is pretty tough this year, so we'll see. By 10, Auburn 7. The offense is still struggling. Yeah. That we kind of laugh about it, but it's pretty sad. Trey, Auburn Tigers need a QB change. Again, I think, I don't know how I feel about that. From a standpoint of needing a QB change, I'm not sure that Jackson Arnold's not the guy, but maybe adapt the offense to the things that he does well. That's the thing that we talked about on the podcast this week is if you make a quarterback change, what are you going to do normally when you make a quarterback change? You're going to dummy down the offense to make it simplistic and figure out the things that particular quarterback does well. Why not do that with Jackson Arnold? Why put him in situations that you think, okay, obviously you've got enough sample size now from spring ball into the fall camp, into the first few games of the season to know that he's not the best drop back passer. He's not a guy that, needs to sit back there and survey the field. The internal clock doesn't go off for him like it should. You're talking about RPO stuff, but you got to R some if you're going to do RPO. You got to run the football. And so he's a good running quarterback. But I watch his drills in practice when the hurry up, no huddle period is in place, where he's not having to really think a lot and he's having to react. And he is a phenomenal quarterback in those situations. And I think Auburn maybe needs to look at that. Maybe they need to hurry their offense up a little bit. Maybe make things a little bit more simplistic where he doesn't have to think as much about a progression, and he can just line up and know where he's going with the ball and make the play happen. So again, the talent's there. I think all the intangibles are there, but I just think there's some things that I'm not sure a coach can help him with. At this point in time in your career, if that internal clock's not going off in your head as a quarterback, and you got to get rid of the football and you can't continue to take sacks, then I don't know that there's a coach out there that can change that for him. That's the thing that's concerning for me. I think he's got all the grit, all the moxie that you want in a quarterback. He takes shots, he pops right back up, and but again, at some point in time, protecting the football. No, he doesn't want to make mistakes, but when you look at it, you can be too conservative, and you can hurt your team that way as well because you're not really willing to make plays or not willing to take a few chances, which you got to do in this league. So, all right, we're up against another break for TV. The final segment of the Saturday Sports Countdown coming your way right after this. Auburn defensive line may be best in the country. I mean, look, I like Auburn's defensive line. I think they get after it. I think they've got a lot of good pieces up there. I definitely think they're in the conversation of being one of the top, if maybe not the top, but in the top, discussion. Not concerned about the defense, not even concerned about our linebackers. Going into the season, everybody talked about, well, we don't know what Auburn's got at linebacker. Well, they've proven a lot of talent there, young in some positions, but really haven't had any problems. I mean, Xavier Atkins has really played well. It really generated the only, play that Auburn had of a highlight last week in that Texas A&M game by that pick. Secondary is improving again. They've got a lot of talent back there. I know Jay Crawford's been banged up, but a lot of guys stepping up, got a lot of depth back there. It's just this offense, and it just makes no sense because you got, you went out and got Derek Nix, and Hugh Freeze is a offensive guru, and it just hadn't worked out. And again, the thing that we brought up yesterday is has this team gotten better from year one to where we are now as a program? And I don't think you can say yes to that. I don't think there's any part outside of the defense, especially on the offensive side, that has been able to get better and improve. So we'll see how it plays out. A lot riding on the Georgia game. You're in this off week, and you got to figure out a way to win that football game. And I know it's easier said than done, but when you got a team like Georgia that maybe is not the Georgia that we've seen the last several years, and you're coming into a night environment in a must-win for Auburn, you're going to find out a lot about your team. What did you work on in the off week to improve some of the things you're not doing well, and find a way to get the ship turned in the right direction. If you don't, if you go to 0-3 in the conference, then I think we kind of already know how the rest of the season is going to set up. So you've missed some opportunities if you're Auburn. Now you're back against the wall, and you got to take advantage of it. You got to find a way to win. Georgia plays Kentucky this morning. They're an 18.5-point favorite. We'll see. I'm sure they'll take some frustrations out on Kentucky. Kentucky's not very good. And coming off that loss to Alabama last week, I'm sure they're going to be a little bit pissed off. So we'll kind of follow that one, see how that goes. Not the best slate of games on tap today. We'll go through those. I guess there's no we to it. I guess I will go through it. I'll go through it with all of you out there that are watching. And you can comment away if you got something that you'd like to add. We got about 20 seconds before we come back for our final segment on TV, and then we'll wrap it up here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Again, thanks to both of them, longtime partners with us here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Couldn't do the show without them. Very appreciative of both of them, and long time members of these communities here, and they do so much for our schools and for all the community people here. So go patronize JR Sports Bar and Grill if you need heating and air work. Call on Sunshine Heating and Air. Down in Davil, Alabama. All right, on tap this morning, like I said, Kentucky at Georgia. Georgia's an 18.5-point favorite in this game. I don't expect there to be much to this. I think Georgia going to be a little bit mad losing to Alabama again last week. So they're going to take some frustration out on the Kentucky Wildcats this morning. They are 18.5-point favorites, and I think they probably cover. I mean, I'll be shocked if they didn't. So be watching that one. Now, this game here on any other year would be one that game day would be at. You would feel like it'd be a matchup of top 10 teams. Well, one of them's in the top 10. I'm not sure they're even worthy of a top 10 ranking right now, and that's Texas and Florida. Texas comes in at number 9. Florida comes in unranked and 1-3 in the season. But here's a kicker. It's at Florida. It's at 2:30. And Florida or Texas is only a 5.5-point favorite in this game. So, again, kind of tells you a little bit about maybe Texas, maybe talks a little bit about Florida too. Now, we saw Florida kind of hit their stride about this time last year. They got off to a rough start, very similar to this year. They've got a tougher schedule, but this is a winnable game for Florida. If Florida is if they're to right the ship, if they're to try to go in the right direction and Billy Napier save his job, you got a vulnerable Texas team coming into your place at 2:30. And we all know the Swamp carries a lot of lore with it. It's a tough place to go play. It's one of the loudest places I've ever been. But can Florida muster up enough to get a win against a Texas team that's beatable? Frankly, Arch Manning has not been very good this year. I don't know if he's got some issues with his throwing arm. It looks like he does from time to time, although Sarkisian said he doesn't, but we'll see. That'll be an interesting game at 2:30. The other 2:30 game is where game day is, and this is where we are in 2025. 16th ranked Vanderbilt at number 10, Alabama. 5-0 Vanderbilt against a 3-1 Alabama team. Alabama now is a 12.5-point favorite. That line has moved up even further. So it lends me to believe that people still feel like it's Vanderbilt. Can't get past the name, even though Vanderbilt off to a great start, beat Alabama last year, beat Auburn last year, got Diego Pavia. People still say it's still Vanderbilt, and they're still having to go to Tuscaloosa. So I'm going to say Alabama wins the game, and I think Alabama probably covers. I think they beat Vanderbilt. I mean, they've got a few trash wins on their schedule. I think Vanderbilt's a lot better program, no doubt about it. I think Alabama maybe had circled this game based off the way they played last year. I know it's a different year, different team, but we'll see. Should be an interesting football game, and it's crazy to look up and see Vanderbilt basically knocking on the door of the top 10 and undefeated in league play. A couple more games in conference play, one at 3 o'clock. Kent State will be at Oklahoma. Nobody cares, right? 46.5-point favorite for Oklahoma. And then Mississippi State will travel to Texas A&M. I didn't have Mississippi State even winning 4 games this year, and they're already 4-1 on the season. Texas A&M, are they the number 6 team in the country? I don't know. There's still some holes in that Texas A&M team that I think need to be filled, but again, we'll see. The Battle of Maroon over in College Station tonight at 6:30. We'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if Mississippi State went in and played them off their feet. A&M's a 16.5-point favorite. I don't like that line with the way Mississippi State's playing, but we'll see. It's on the road. It's at night. It's in a tough environment in Kyle Field. I was just there last Saturday. It's a crazy place to play. So we'll see how that all works out. The only other game really on the national stage is Florida State and Miami. That one will be interesting to see. You know, Florida State just recently dropped a game. Can they get back to playing the way they did the first part of the season? So we'll see that one a little bit later on tonight as well. But that's really it for the slate of games on tap today. So not the greatest schedule of games, but again, it's college football. So, all right, that's going to wrap us up here for the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, I want to thank all of you so very much for being part of the program each and every Saturday. We will be back with you next week with more Sports Blitz programming, Auburn Blitz podcast, 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. We'll carry you throughout the week. It's Georgia week. We'll be covering that. And then the show at noon every day, Auburn Blitz, and then we'll have Sports Blitz Live Tuesday night, and then we'll be back here Saturday for another edition of Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, thanks to everybody. Hope all of you have a great weekend out there, and we'll catch you next time.